Sean, here's one in the big picture. There are a couple questions, two big questions. One, will Jett players, much like Chamber players in the previous season, will Star Duelist Jett mains have their value lowered because of the nerf?
Bro, Jett players got it so hard. So just to like go through all of them real quick, the dash window decreased from 12 seconds to 7.5 seconds. That's a pretty big nerf. Some people right now, I watch a lot of rounds in pro play where the Jetts pop their dash and like they end up actually using it very close to the end because the other team just kind of like simmers on a hit. Like they're not just, it's not just like the second you hear or see something like the hit's coming. You can't, sometimes it's like that. I mean, and if it is like that, then you're going to miss it. But other times it's like they need to like simmer things out, like clear certain angles. And if you panic, pop that dash, like you are so screwed with this new activation window. Let's see, I'm just going to go down to Cloudburst now. So the duration decreased from 4.5 seconds to 2.5 seconds. This is actually fucking huge. Like this is actually so big. So Rod, no longer could you get half on a spike in a Jett Cloudburst. Like that is actually insane because the Jett Cloudburst was like, it was used a lot in that manner. It's also used a lot to stall as like a one-way on a corner. Like Jetts will stick them on corners, like if they miss a shot or even if they hit a shot. So that way no one can rush at them to trade. That's so much lower. And then obviously like I'm thinking, imagine dashing into like the A site on Haven, right? You're coming up long. You cloudburst the right side in the open. That cloudburst is only there for 2.5 seconds. Like that means that the timing between you and your breach or whoever is going to flash or use a piece of util for you has to be like immaculate. Like it has to be so good. And it's just a much higher likelihood you get spammed in that cloudburst. There's so many things that can go wrong for you. And that's just one of the things. The next thing is the updraft. The charges getting decreased from 2 to 1. So I found a clip, Rod. Here's another clip where just actually in the finals, we saw a double updraft Bladestorm kill that was pretty fucking sick, if I'm being honest. So something updrafts over the link position from Mound, gets a kill on Ethan. Stuff like that's just no longer going to be possible, right? Like I can think of several on Pearl. There's one at A on attack. There's one from Street on attack. They're all over the place. Like double
Haven, A long. From Haven, the game.
They're everywhere. Like double updraft Bladestorms are all over the place in this game. And in addition to the aspect of Bladestorm, I think a lot of Jetts use the updraft as like an escape tool these days at the pro level. Like you even saw in actually the clip where something was trying to get away from Jog's showstopper. You can see like in that clip, he actually tries to get away from it and he just can't. Like he can't, but he does dash updraft in that clip, which is super crazy. That's why it's so insane that Jog actually hit him in this round, just because he's using 2 escapability tools. And a lot of Jetts do that. Like it's very, very common. I don't know, man. Like I think this is like the end of her. And then the last thing is just they actually increased the Bladestorm from 7 to...
it's great. After all that, just twist the dice in further.
What do you think about this? Like,
twist it in. Well, I'm asking you, Sean. You are the expert here. This is on you. Is Jett dead in pro play?
I think already you were seeing a massive shift into raise picks, and I think this pretty much locked it. That like it's officially like locked. Like at this point, you're gonna see a huge shift to raise. Like
that's the funniest thing about all this. I don't understand from Riot's perspective why they did all this to Jett if what is going to inevitably happen in professional play is that everyone's going to be playing Raze. Like, I know that they're doing this to Jett because it's whenever they make changes, you know, to the balance of the game, it's for the entire game. It's for all ranks. A lot of the time, it's not.
Rod, allow me to open your eyes. The next agent is a duelist. There you go. That's
makes sense. I'm sure they can fly. They must be able to fly.
No, I'm just purely speculating, but
I mean, it would make total sense.
It would make total sense. It would make total sense. Like, honestly, like,
do you think this was necessary? I mean, because we had, even before, we spoke so much about Killjoy, Viper, Sky. Like, those are the agents that seem to have the biggest issue. Yeah, Jett has always been in a really good spot, but we didn't really talk about, like, is Jett in a broken, especially since you know, the nerfs that she got to her. There's no longer instant dash type of thing. I think a lot of the discussion has no longer been there. Like, do you felt like this was necessary?
It depends what they're aiming for, right? Like, I would imagine what they're aiming for is now they probably feel like, oh, well, like Chamber isn't like super powerful. Jett isn't super powerful. Maybe this will cause an increase of like Yoru, Reyna, Phoenix, you know, like at some kind of level, like just because people will try different shit out. Like they have to, like they actually have to. I think that a lot of teams off the rip are going to go Chamber Raze. Like I think they're going to go Chamber Raze a lot, but I think there will be teams that experiment with those other duelists, especially after watching, you know, like Paper Rex. Yeah. I think that will serve as a lot of inspiration to teams to tinker with those three other duelists and maybe try to find something that works. But I know, like, going into LCQ and even Champions, like the number of teams running Chamber Raze was insane. Like it was crazy. So I think it's just going to shift heavy in that direction. I don't think the Sky nerfs were like hard enough, if I'm being honest, in this patch either. So like I think they nerfed Jett into the ground. Like I don't think she's that great.
I'm right there with you in terms of my concern about this. Like, if the intention is to nerf Jett so that other duelists that aren't played a ton, including things like Yoru, Phoenix, and Reyna, get picked more, that is not going to be the end result. Maybe it is in ranked matchmaking, even though I don't think so. I think people are going to pick Jett anyway. Like, I don't think it matters how much you nerf Jett in ranked. People are still going to insta-lock Reyna and Jett no matter what. But if the intention is to get these other agents picked, all that's going to happen is exactly what you said. Every single team is going to run Raze Chamber. No one is legitimately, besides PRX, going to be running Reyna and Phoenix with any reliability, and Yoru outside of a couple specific map picks.
I don't know. I think you say that about ranked, but like obviously if you're picking Jett all the time in ranked and this is her kit, you're going to probably lose. Like, this isn't a very
Reyna good all the time. Reyna hasn't been good in terms of like
Reyna's like a really good ranked agent because people are
ranked agent.
Because people are really sloppy and like you can get kills and like dismiss out or get kills and overheal. Obviously, like Reyna's a great ranked agent.
My point is, if the nerf is to address Jett's pick rate through the entire game, not just professional play, is it even going to do anything in ranked? I still bet money people are going to insta-lock Jett even with the nerfs. It's not going to make the ranked player play Raze, okay? Every single game, you're going to have a Jett. That Jett is not playing Raze. You know it's not happening. So all it's going to do is affect the professional pick rate.
That's not true. Because it's like, it literally starts from the top and it trickles down. Like, what's going to happen is like, the top Radiants will not play a lot of Jett. And then that'll trickle down into like the lower Radiants. And then that'll trickle down into the Immortal 3s. And then that'll go to the Immortal 2s. And people start learning like, oh, this is how I rank up. And that's how these changes progress through the rank system. Now, will it ever change like the bottom? where people are just like, oh, I'm just gonna lock Jett, like, because I don't even care about the pros. I don't care. I don't even watch this shit. Like, I don't know what I'm doing. No, it won't. Like in bronze, it's not going to change anything. Like wood
talking
tier.
about like Radiant Immortal. Like, okay, sure, some players may play good meta in ranked, but there's a ton of insta-lock Jetts and Reynas in the top of Radiant.
Jett's good right now. And Reyna also pretty good in ranked. Like, honestly, you can get a lot of value. Like, good mechanical players can get value. This Jett kit is very hard, probably. It's almost like, why would you not just pick Reyna? Like, at this point, they're like begging you to pick Reyna with this. Like, the 2.5 second cloud burst just seems so crazy with all the other stuff.
Maybe a little too much all at the same time. Kind of like what they did to Chamber and Sova. They have tended to kind of over nerf some characters. Like, they wait so long to implement nerfs in the first place, and then when they finally do, they do all of them at the same time.
Yeah, I don't know. Dude, playing Jetts in like one-on-ones when they have their cloud bursts is really hard in the past. Like the 4.5 second time length, because they could just get half, they could re-smoke, be sticking it, or they could play outside of the cloud burst. The second you start shooting, like, they just pop out and kill you. You know, like, it's... And then, you know, like playing Haven, C long. Like, what if a Jett at the start of the round wants to play top B? Well, they're going to have to use their updraft to get there. What if they play top C? They use their updraft to get there. Like, no longer can they do the double updraft over A to get the kill. Like, there's so many things that Jetts used updrafts for that people are just, like, not taking into account. Like, I think... this is a pretty big nerf to like the top level Jetts. Like the very top level Jetts will not be very happy about. The dash window thing initially was like kind of crazy. I was surprised a lot of them overcame that. This feels like they're really trying to make people go somewhere else. I don't mind it, I guess. Yeah.
Well, what about Gojo Sky and Viper? I know you said that Sky, it felt like the nerfs weren't enough. Do you feel like KJ, Viper were appropriate? Do you feel like their pick rates, do you feel like, and Sky included, will all go down?
No, not Killjoy. I mean, like, honestly, 8 to 9, like, whatever.
It doesn't matter at this point.
Viper going like 8 to 9, like, honestly, like, I don't know. I think there could be better solutions other than Viper. I think right now teams are just like kind of, it'd just be hard to like retool everything. I don't know. Because I played a lot of Viper in the past, and she's.
By the way, you were totally right. Viper Harbor seemed to always win at Champion. Whenever it was played, like 9 times out of 10, it felt like they were winning the map.
Yeah. Why did they ditch that shit? So frustrating.
So do you think that these changes nerf, like, does this change anything? Are you no longer running Harbor Viper after this?
I don't know if Viper will be strong enough. She's always going to be good just because her Molly's double damage, and I don't know, the wall and the orb are pretty annoying, but I think there's going to be better options. Like, I think it's a little bit unclear right now. So it's hard to say with her. The Sky nerfs, so like, I don't know. I don't think they're enough. I'm not gonna lie. I think she still has the best heal in the game. The Trailblazer being reduced from 100 to 80 is like, who cares? It's like not that important, right? Like 2 Vandal shots now versus 3, whatever. But it still has like amazing sight range. It still goes on forever. The Seekers going from 7 to 8. And the health.
That is bigger than the other charge differences.
The Guiding Light max duration, I'll have to like mess with that in a server, but it'll be annoying, but it's not like world ending. Like, I don't think it crushes her. I'll say that. Like, it doesn't seem like that insane. But I don't know. I would have to test it on like Bind Be Long. Like, where can you get a flash from Bind Be Long? That's what I wanted to test. The Sofa nerf is fucking crazy. But I don't think, again, like in pro play, it doesn't matter too much. It just helps like floods and stuff like that happen faster. People no longer have to wait for 3 pings.
So like you know, just looking at this, it doesn't seem like just looking ahead in terms of the professional play from the balance changes that anything changes except for that we're going to see more raids. That is like what my gut initially tells me from all of this. They didn't hit Sky enough to get rid of her. They didn't hit Killjoy enough or buff Chamber or Cypher. I don't think Deadlock's buffs are enough, honestly, in a pro setting to get her played either, to get her out. And it still seems like Viper Harbor is really good. Maybe Harper Astra or maybe something replaces it. But even then, that doesn't seem to go away. So we might have literally the exact same meta as before, except more Rays.
I think you'll see
is this where we're going?
You'll see light changes. You'll definitely see like light changes. I don't know.
Like, I don't think the PRX ability. I think it is worth mentioning that the top 4 teams at Champions, and especially the top 2 and the top 3, all had extreme versatility in terms of what they were playing. Not only were they all have the best versatility in terms of what their players can play, but they all had unique picks that the other regions were not playing. You had Loud and their double controller. You had EG, who was playing like Sova and Fracture really early on. And you had PRX, who loved playing Phoenix and Reyna and Yoru all the time. And I don't think it's a surprise that those are the top 3 teams that ended up there.
It's a good shout. Yeah, EG even played Yoru. Obviously, they played some weird comps too. They put their star duelist on like controller roles to open up a lot of raise slots. Like, they were doing crazy shit. Like, might not seem like it, but they're definitely doing crazy shit.
So then, okay, like in terms of like free agency, which we're going to get all into in the next couple of weeks, it should be a ton of fun to speculate on what's going to happen. If you're a team out there, does your like initial looking for the star Jett Opper, does that transition at all into looking for the best Braves player? Because those actually, a lot of the time, are 2 different people. That's been one of the issues for a lot of players keeping their jobs in VCT. So if you're a team, are you now looking for the star Raze player like immediately?
Probably. Raises are insane. Yeah, Raze is very valuable. I mean, you saw that with Jog. Jogamo is insane on Raze. Like, you know, Durka's incredible on Raze. Ospas has a great Raze. Jing has an incredible Raze. Like,
yep.
You go through these teams in the top of this tournament, they all have good raises. Buzz is a great raise. I actually think Kong Kong was a great raise. And trying to blank. Smoggy played raise really well as also. Like, Billy had YZ. And like, all these teams play raise at a really high level. Even Kiwi plays raise. They all play raise. Raze is OP right now.
Does Raze become the Opper?
Maybe.
I mean, we saw it a bunch. Like Kang was owning.
Yeah, it's definitely hard. It's definitely really hard to disengage from fights, but he made it work for sure.
I mean, something was making Reyna op work too. We saw a bunch of the other duelists use op.
Reyna's risky when you're opping though, because you obviously have to hit a shot. Yeah, so you could dismiss out. Yeah, he definitely did.
He definitely did.